Hello everyone, this is Bazooka. Welcome to one of my videos and welcome to Random Ramblings. I know it's not the classic gameplay, it's not the, my analysis on it, but a lot of things happened. Of course, on Monday, it was my birthday. I did a birthday stream, so I thank anyone out there who came to the stream. I also thank I also thank everyone who wished me a happy birthday. It really means a lot to me to know that just the random people over the internet just like, hey, happy birthday, and then they mean it, and it's just like that's great. It's heartwarming. Also, I got a few presents. I got a few medic hats from Gamer Extreme. A few medic hats that I hadn't gotten yet, so that eases out my collection a little bit better. I only need a few more, less than 10 hats to complete the medic collection. And speaking of my medic collection, I got an unusual German Gonzalez, or Gonzola, whatever that hat is called. And it's nuts and bolts. I got that from Moro and gasoline based. And that's my first ever unusual. You'd think someone like me has probably had an unusual at some point. No, this is the first time I've ever had an unusual. And, while I may not wear it too much, I'll definitely wear it in my MVM set. It will always be on, unless someone gets me another unusual. Don't. Unless you really want to. I can't stop you, but don't waste your money on me if you can help it. Yeah. Anyway, so my birthday was really great. Got lots to eat. Did a really long stream. Did another short stream after I came back after eating. It was kind of short though, but I did start playing Majora's Mask, so it was all right. Managed to set it up quite nicely. Hopefully I'll get a better capture card, because Dazzle is always a pain to set up every single time. What else? So, okay, my birthday was great. Got unusual. It was great. Lots to eat. So, next day, the 8th, was probably one of the worst days I've had in a long time. So, it was raining. It was, like, on and off, heavy, light rain. It was kind of going like that for, like, a few hours, maybe, like, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours. But, man, it was so bad. My ceiling started to leak. In one of the corners of my room, my ceiling started to leak. Like, I just heard, like, a tuck, 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 tuck. And it was hitting, like, a cardboard box. I'm like, what's happening? What is that? So I go over to look at the box. I'm like, what is this? Why is this making a sound? And I see it, like, slightly moving. And I couldn't really tell it was, like, water was dropping it. So I look up and it's just like, oh, there's water. What? So I put a towel over there, ended up getting a little pail, put underneath the dripping. Okay, that's okay. But then, like, the water started seeping out further and further from the corner. I'm like, oh, great. And it started dripping further and further away from the corner. So I had to eventually just kind of, I had to get a towel. I had to get a towel and put it there. So I'm like, okay, that's great. And then, like, a few minutes after that, my doorway started to leak water. Like, the doorway into my room started to leak water. So I'm like, alright, fine. Because the leak in the corner of my room, it stopped. It looked like it stopped. It was like, it still had the water damage on it, but it stopped. So it's just like, okay. So I take the towel, put it there, and I go out and, like, oh, jeez. Water was leaking in, like, a hallway that we go out to get, outside. And I was just like, oh, man. And then when I got back, the corner started leaking again. I'm like, and at that point, the doorway into the kitchen started leaking water, and then the dining room started leaking water. I absolutely lost my cool. I was furious. And so, like, that really put a damper on my mood. So I couldn't edit anything because I was way too paranoid. I had to clean. I'm kind of in the process of cleaning my, or kind of rearranging my room. More or less just rearranging what goes where. Also, I got rid of. Well, I moved a giant cardboard box that was really close to the corner of my room, which was leaking water, that had my Wii and my Wii U on it, and I also moved a bunch of boxes that I cherish very dearly. A bunch of, you know, handheld console boxes that was on a shelving. So I moved those out of the way. Now, if it leaks again, if the corner leaks again, I don't have to worry about it too much. It's just some random papers that I don't care about, some pencils that I don't even use. So it can leak water over there. I'm not going to be too upset about that. I will be upset because there's leaking in my room, and it's another reason why my room sucks. But alright, anyway. Wow, okay, so I spent a lot of time talking about that. Of course, you've probably been watching the gameplay in the background. It is the beta map. The Asteroid, I think it was called. I can't quite remember. But it's the new map mode that Valve decided to, you know, here. You guys can try this out. It was also probably the map that they started, you know, kind of hinting at some point, along with the engineer taunt that they hinted at a while back. So, first impressions, I had no idea where to go. It was like, okay, so payload maps, very straightforward. You follow the cart. Alright, you follow the tracks, you'll probably find where you need to be. Alright, that's okay. Capture the flag? Okay, well, there's two sides, they're both identical pretty much. You just have to go across. If you see an enemy coming out of there, you most likely have to get to them. You have to beat them and keep pressing forward. Attack, defend. It's straight linear. Oh, there's a point. Okay, keep moving forward. Oh, there's another point. Okay. The King of the Hill. Point in the middle. Just go on it. Bada boom. Friggin'. What's this map mode again? I can't remember. I can't remember what this map mode is called again. But it's just like this one. Bot destroyer. I don't know. Robo. I don't know what it's called, but whatever. I'll flash it on the screen. The future me. Flash it on the screen. Thanks, man. Okay, so, there's like a bunch of twists and turns and corridors, and like there's a bottom area, there's a middle area, there's a top area, and it's just like you can go all over the place. It's so random. Even like there's like when you get inside of their base, there's a freaking waterway. Like there's water, you can go in the water. There's an underwater tunnel, and it goes up, and it's just like, what is happening? It's so confusing when you first jump into this new game mode. It's so confusing. It might have something to do with the map textures not being fully there yet. As you can see, there's just like, you know, the work in progress kind of textures going on. So maybe that might have something to do with it. But man alive, it was so hard to find out where I was going. I was just like, okay, when I initially started playing as medic because I thought it would be a good idea, because you're supposed to destroy robots, collect their cores or whatever, and then the first like 300 cores wins. But you can also steal the enemy's main core, which is like, you'll see an example of it at some point. All right, I can't explain it very well, but I was so confused when I started playing as a medic. But of course, when you start playing something, you get used to it, and I got used to it. Pretty much, you have it's an interesting map. It's an interesting game mode. I like it. The only problem is it was so much harder to push in because like this is the new Dust Bowl. This is the new Dust Bowl. If you don't know what I'm talking about, people spam engineer and just a million sentries. What are you gonna do about that? I mean, you can do an Uber, but it's just like, oh my god. Like, it was so hard to push in, and maybe it was just like not my day, because as a medic I kept getting killed over and over again. but it was so hard to push in that, like, a few games when people were just spamming engineers, and at one point there was a match that was like 30 minutes long because both teams ended up turtling, and it's just like, what can we do? We can't do anything. Guys, let's push out. So I think that's one of the biggest problems of this game. It doesn't encourage people to go out and kill the enemy robots. It encourages you to stay back and protect your robots. And that's, I mean, like, it's a little bit of both, because if you don't, like, it's like capture the flag. How about that? Let's just say it's like capture the flag. It encourages people more to stay back than to go forward. And I think that's kind of a problem that capture the flag has, and this one is going to have if they don't change it. Like, I don't know, maybe the robots start moving outside of your base, but that's kind of weird because they're all designated in certain locations. There's 3 tiers. There's A, B, C bots, and A gives like a few cores, B gives a few more, and then C gives a lot of cores, and you really want to get all the way to C. So that really wouldn't make sense to, you know, have them travel out forward to die, and I don't know, but that I feel like they need to find a way to encourage people to move forward and get into people's bases. Of course, when your team is full of really, really good players, there's no problem with that. You just run forward gung-ho and you kill the other team, you kill the robots, you just keep going and going. You kind of end up in a kind of spawn camp position because you're so close to their spawn camps. Just like, yeah, why not just spawn camp them, and, you know, it'll be easier. So that, I feel like that's kind of a problem as well. I mean, overall, it's actually really fun. It's really, really interesting to learn a new map and to understand how exactly this game mode worked. Because you can get cores, you can steal the other team's cores, you can, you know, hang back as a defender, or you can go forward as an attacker. It's just like, it offers so many different things. Like, if you want to be just the guy who just beats the crap out of people, you can do that. You can do that, and then, like, if there's no one else to beat up, you can just kill the robots. If you're, like, kind of a sneaky guy, like, I don't really want to fight these people, but the enemy team has a bunch of cores, you can just go over, steal some of their cores, hopefully kind of run back, kind of like a capture the flag scenario. See, this is where it's kind of like capture the flag. So you can do that, or you can just, like, I'm not really good at attacking or sneaking, I'm just gonna stand back, I'm just gonna stay back, protect our robots, because they're very important. So, yeah, so far that's, I like it. Clearly this is beta. Like, it very says beta maps when you go to it. Like, enable beta maps, something like that. So, it's not done. There's still a work in progress. They even said that, they may change entirely how the game mode works. So it's truly up to them, it's really, you know, I already said it. It's a work in progress. I don't know what else I'm trying to say here. Jeez. So that's really how it is. It's fun. I didn't really get to look at the beta payload maps, but I mean, it's payload. Like, whatever. It's payload. For some reason, I just haven't really cared about payload. I'm starting to get a little bit back into payload, but I still don't care too much about payload. Payload, 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 payload. So, yeah, that's really it. Once again, sorry, I haven't gotten the classic video out yet. I will try and get that out on Friday. If not, definitely, I will have it on Monday. Maybe. I'm not promising, because as I always say, I am bad with promises, and they are bound to not come true if I make a promise. So, I thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys laters. Once again, sorry, and thank you all for being so patient. These Love and War update videos are taking so long to get out, and I'm really sorry about that. In any case, Have a great day, and a good night. Bye. Meh.